After reaching the steady state temperature in the composite wall apparatus, we have taken some readings from the temperature indicators and voltmeter and ammeters. So before that, we should write the thermal conductivities, that is of cast iron, bakelite and press wood. So now in this apparatus, we are using this cast iron. So the conductivity, that is thermal conductivity of this material is 52 watt per meter degree Celsius. Then second material is bakelite. The thermal conductivity is 1.4 watt per meter degree Celsius. Third material is press wood. The thermal conductivity is 0.12 watt per meter degree Celsius. And the thicknesses of this cast iron, bakelite and press wood are 25 mm, 19 mm and 10 mm respectively. The diameter of the slab is 300 mm. Then the voltage, current and temperatures are 70 voltage, 0.52 current. Then the temperatures are 75, 74, 73, 73, 62, 62, 49 and 49. So these are the T1 to T8 temperatures. Now we can calculate the total heat, that is Q, with the help of voltage and current. So we have already observed this voltage as 70, current as 0.52. So we can multiply this 70 and 0.52. We get 36.4 watt, that is the total heat supplied. Now in this apparatus, the heater is at the center and on both the side the composite wall is there. So you can also calculate the one side composite wall heat loss or heat supplied, that is 36.4 divided by 2, 18.2 watt, right? But for the total system, we have to consider this Q, that is 36.4 watt. Now we can calculate the area of heat transfer with the help of formula, that is pi by 4 d square. We know the diameter, that is 300 mm, means 0.3 meter. So we can calculate this area as 0.0707 meter square. Now the thermal resistance is calculated with the help of formula, that is X by Ka. Now this is for the disc 1, that is why it is capital R1, and the formula is X1 upon K1A. The thickness for the first disc is 25 mm, so it is 0.025. Thermal conductivity is 52, that is K1, and area is common, that is 0.0707. So on the basis of this, capital R1, we get 6.8 into 10 raised to minus 3 Kelvin per watt. Now similarly, we can calculate this resistance for disc 2, that is 0.1938 Kelvin per watt, and for disc 3, 1.1786 Kelvin per watt. Now we know that the total thermal resistance can be calculated with the help of formula, that is R1 plus R2 plus R3, because in this composite wall there are 3 materials, that is why we have to add these resistances of 3 materials. So we know the R1 value, we know the R2 value and R3 value. Then we can calculate this R1 plus R2 plus R3, that is 1.3792 Kelvin per watt. Now this is the thermal resistance which is calculated on the theoretical basis, because we are knowing the thicknesses, thermal conductivities and area, and on the basis of this parameter we have calculated this theoretical total resistance 1.3792. Now the heat input is Q is equal to V into I, that is 70 into 0.52, 36.4 watt, and heat flux we can calculate, that is rate of heat transfer with respect to area, so that Q by A. So Q is 36.4, area is 0.0707. We can calculate the heat flux as 514.85 watt per meter square. And for one side, we can calculate it as 257.49. Now we know the average temperature for the composite wall, that is TA, T1 plus T2 divided by 2. We already recorded this temperature as 75 and 74. So the average is 74.5 degrees Celsius. And TD, second average, T7 plus T8 by 2. That is 49 plus 49 divided by 2, 49 degrees Celsius. Now that delta T is the driving force, that is temperature difference. So with the help of this TA and TD, we can calculate this delta T, that is 25.5 degrees Celsius. So on the basis of this delta T and R calculations, Q calculations, we can calculate the total thermal resistance, that is practical R. So this Q is equal to delta T by R. So by mathematical rearrangement, we can write this R is equal to delta T upon Q. So delta T is 25.5 degrees Celsius or Kelvin, as it is a temperature difference. So the degree Celsius is nothing but Kelvin, that is one and the same. And Q is 36.4 watt. So this comes 0.7 Kelvin per watt. Now we have calculated the total thermal resistance theoretically and practically. So we have to write these results, that is total resistance theoretical, total resistance practical. Now there is a difference between this theoretical and practical value. So why this difference is, so that should be noted down in the interpretation of the result, and on the basis of that we have to conclude this practical. Okay, thank you.